Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Roseville Wrecking Ball. The Roseville Wrecking Ball.
Joshua Shrum. He is a very talented steward, very knowledgeable.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. This is one of those podcasts where I listen to every episode. I love what he's putting out there.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. Josh Shrum.
Parcels of Knowledge. Does a fantastic job with that podcast.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. He is an Article 8 scholar, and thank God. We need Article 8 scholars right now.
Tune into the Parcels of Knowledge podcast while you're on the route. That's the mailman's playbook, brother.
Good morning and welcome back to Parcels of Knowledge, the podcast dedicated to delivering knowledge to the city letter carrier with your host, the Roseville Wrecking Ball. Today we got another Saturday with Shrum. It's actually Sunday, but it doesn't matter. It's good to have another guest on, and it's a great guest. I seem to only get her around the holidays because last time it was Valentine's Day. Today it's Father's Day. But, yeah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hello. Hi, Joshua. My name's Anita Guzik. I'm from Los Angeles, Branch 24.
All right. And I understand that you're running for a position. Is that correct?
That's correct.
What position would that be?
Director of Retirees.
All right. So I got a number of questions sent in by listeners. And, of course, we're just going to go right down the list. No particular order. Now, first question. Sister Anita, many NALC members know that you are married to Charlie Miller. What role, if any, has Charlie played in the formation, strategy, or decision-making of the CLC slate?
Joshua, since the founding of the CLC, Charlie's been the CLC Director of Organization. That's always been published on our concernlettercares.com website. The CLC currently has two Directors of Organization, still Charlie, and we added Kathy Jones from Minneapolis. We have a regular Zoom calls where all our candidates and CLC board members play a role in the formation, strategy, and decision-making.
All right. That's pretty straightforward. All right. During a previous interview on Parcels of Knowledge, you stated that you're running against the establishment for the NALC AFL-CIO delegate position. However, you did not mention that you were the current holder of that position. I think that's technically wrong. I think you did say that. But
I did.
Yeah, regardless, can you explain what you mean by the establishment and how that description applies to your own union career and the positions you've held?
Yes. Just to clarify again, my incumbency as AFL-CIO delegate was mentioned in your first interview. You specifically asked me that question, and I responded not 1981. What I didn't mention was that I was the first female elected to a national position. Regarding the reference to establishment, now that the description applies to my, and how that description applies to my own union career, let's start with the fact that Sombrado ran for president 4 times and was finally elected in 1978. I was his campaign chairman in the Kim Region 6 in 1976 and 1978. This was a time when most of Michigan didn't support Sombrado, and I stood up for Sombrado because I felt that it was time for a change. Now, only months after Renfro was installed as president, here we are with Renfro, who was MIA at the beginning of our 2023 contract negotiations, and an MIA for other events that included our own Region 1 RAP session in 2023. You know, Joshua, I could pile it higher and deeper, but let's just go with that as the catalyst for the founding of the CLC. So, yes, I am running against the current administration because, once again, it's time for a change.
Yep. Yeah, so the current administration, you're defining that as Brian Renfro, is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. Can you provide a timeline of the NALC and AFL-CIO positions you have held throughout your union career?
Not a problem. Let's start with 1970. I participated with my branch in the strike at 19 years old. My first branch, 4570, included southeast Michigan cities, Farmington Hills, Walled Lake, Novi, Brighton, and South Lyon. Later that same year of the strike, the president of Branch 4570 asked me to run for vice president. So from 71 to 72, I was vice president. From 73 to 77, I was the recording secretary. From 78 to 84, I was president of the former branch 4570. They merged with branch 3126 in 1984. From 76 to 84, I served on the executive board of the Michigan State Association of Letter Carriers, and in 1981 and currently, I was elected nationally as AFL-CIO delegate. In December of 1984, I transferred to Alhambra, California, and Alhambra is the AO of Los Angeles, Branch 24. From 1986 to 1990, I served as Secretary of the California State Association of Letter Carriers. From 1986 to 1989, I started as Board of Audit Officer in Branch 24. I was the Alhambra Chief Shop Steward in Los Angeles, Branch 24. From 1989 to 2022, I served as full-time recording secretary, Formal A designee of Los Angeles 24. And from 22 to 24, I served as trustee, Formal A designee. From 24 to current, I'm back to full-time field rep and Formal A designee, doing pre-arbs for the branch and trustee for Los Angeles Branch 24. I handle 13 of our stations, and that includes Hollywood and the surrounding area where I'm at. Additionally, my administrative duties include our own branch publication, food drive coordinator, and our convention paperwork. So we're pretty busy getting ready for the national convention right now.
I'm excited for the national convention for sure.
Oh, we all are.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be on your home turf too, eh?
It sure is.
Now, this next one's a long one. It says, can you discuss your involvement with CMAG? Is CMAG an abbreviation for Charlie Miller and Anita Guzik? If so, can you explain the organization's purpose and the roles each of you play? And have you or them received compensation for consulting work connected to NALC-related activities? And if so, can you explain the nature of that work and how any potential conflicts of interest are addressed?
Not a problem. Yes, my husband, Charlie Miller, formed an S corporation after he retired. That was necessary because he continued to do arbitrations under contract for the NALC. But since his branch 1100, was part of the NALC annuity, he could not be on the annuity and work for the NALC. So upon legal advice, he created the CMAG Consulting so that the NALC payments for his arbitration advocacy go to the corporation. When he was president doing arbitrations, the payment went to the branch. But after he was retired, he incorporated. So the payments when he does his arbitration advocacy go to the corporation. That corporation also covers Charlie's, he's got a small business, antique and collectibles business. So initially both of our names were on the corporation, but since I've been a candidate, I've divested myself from the corporation so there wouldn't be any conflict of interest.
Okay, that makes sense. I hear that that's kind of a normal practice for some other people as well, right?
Yeah, absolutely. If anybody that's on the annuity, can't work on another job. Now, they passed a rule years ago, when you're 70, you can. That first problem came up with Sombrado, by the way, because he worked till after he was 70. So I guess you could call it the Sombrado rule. They did make a rule that once you're 70, you can collect the annuity and work for the NALC.
Now, next question is, without referring to the establishment, what specifically makes you a stronger candidate than Dan Toth for Director of Retired Members?
because I'm running with James Henry and the CLC team, and I'm out to make changes. Dan Toth is currently supporting Brian Renfro and supporting the status quo.
Okay. Now, he is widely regarded by many retirees as having done a strong job in that position. Can you identify any policies, initiatives, or accomplishments where you believe a different approach is needed, and explain how your leadership would differ from his?
Of course. According to the NALC website, the retirement department can be reached Monday, Wednesday, or Thursday from 10 a.m. to noon or 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. How do you measure strong when you're only available for 12 hours a week? I do hear he's a strong golfer, so you got me there. I don't golf, but I have spent 70% of my life representing letter carriers. Regarding how the CLC approach would be different, we plan on expanding these hours. We plan on providing assistance in navigating the process of retiring online and expanding assistance on navigating OPM issues.
Okay.
Then legislation. There's also legislation. For example, under the pending Retirement Fairness Act, 1522, you see that online, we have members who would like to buy back their CCA or TE time. So those years would count towards their retirement, and it would make them eligible to retire sooner. You know, I also think that if this is passed and these members taking money out of their pockets to buy back time, they should also receive step increases consistent with the time that they're buying back. Secondly, we also have Equal COLA Act. That's HR 491 and S 624. We have 50,000 first retirees, Joshua, and their COLA is capped at 2%. It's not capped for retirees under CSRS, and that's not fair. These two bills are currently sitting in committee and appear to be dying in committee. So I think we need to put more attention towards that.
Absolutely. Now, here's a good one. Do you believe the process used in Branch 70 involving the Article 10 charges filed against Brother Michael Rivera was fair? Why or why not?
I figured I'd get that question. The process you're asking about is outlined in the National Constitution. Resolutions to these type of branch disputes are decided by a vote of the membership, not by social media. The members of Branch 70 voted on this issue, and the outcome of this issue is now in the hands of the NALC Committee on Appeals. If either party does not like the outcome, they can appeal to the convention, and that's the way the process works, period.
Okay. Well, you know what? I got a random question that I've been asked to ask everybody, but I think I skipped it a few times. But there's a carrier out there wondering about they've been telling me to ask any candidate who comes on about the renovations. Do you know anything about the renovations to the NELC headquarters right now?
I know that Brian Renfro is spending a lot of money renovating his own office. For the amount that I've heard, I can't figure out what in the world he's doing with it, but that's about all I've heard.
Okay. What is the number one priority facing NALC retirees right now?
Insufficient income that's needed to survive. If our wages are low and our retirement contributions are based on a percentage of our wages that are too low, that impacts our retirement. Under TSP, the Postal Service will match up to 5% of your salary, as you know. Many active employees simply need every penny in that 5% just to pay their rent and buy food.
Yep. Yeah, I feel like all the retirees I know are always having a hard time getting by.
Yeah, it's not enough in today's the high price of groceries, high price of everything. Everything's going up at our pay.
Absolutely. Now, how do you plan to modernize retiree communication and outreach?
Well, we plan on expanding availability to all time zones. We plan on assistance in navigating the process of retiring online and expand assistance in navigating OPM issues. I'm preparing a paper to publish on our Facebook about a little more detailed plans of what we're looking at.
Okay. When should we expect that to be finished?
Hopefully within the next week.
Now, what is your strategy for pushing back against the legislative erosion of retiree benefits in Congress?
So let's go back to the two pieces of legislation we just talked about that appear to be dying in committee. The Retirement Fairness Act, pending, has 150 co-sponsors. The Equal COLA Act has 83 co-sponsors. There's 435 congressional representatives and 100 Senate representatives. We need more co-sponsors. There's several organizations out there that represent retired federal workers, and we should be increasing our participation to get this done.
Are you expecting to leverage our lobbyists?
I'm expecting to do whatever we can to get these passed.
All right.
That means leveraging our lobbyists, then we'll do that.
Now, what specific resources will you introduce to help active carriers better transition into retirement?
That's an important question. Do you know there's currently 3 to 5 month delay at OPM, which is very frustrating to our members trying to retire. We need to broaden our hands on assistance to navigate the online retirement process, and we need to have readily available OPM contacts to assist us with navigating that system. I'm hoping to be hooking up with somebody over there at OPM, some buddies over at OPM, their drop phone numbers or whatever, to be able to contact them to get assistance for navigating this system, because we are having problems with it.
Now, how do you plan to protect and strengthen the FEHB program for seniors?
Well, we can create a joint retiree department and NALC health benefit team to assist retirees to get the most out of their health benefits and Medicare. We could further foster support in Congress for legislation beneficial to retirees and oppose legislation detrimental to our retirees.
All right. Now, what is your stance on the windfall elimination provision in the government pension offset?
We've all seen a lot on this over the years. The government pension offset was placed into law in 1977, and that eliminates most or all of the otherwise payable spousal and survivor benefits for retirees under CSRS. They don't pay into Social Security. The windfall elimination provision was passed into law in 1983, which reduced the Social Security benefits of government employees under CSRS if they qualified for any other outside employment for at least 10 years that paid into Social Security. So after 40 years of fighting Congress, these laws were finally repealed by the Social Security Fairness Act under Biden in January of 2025. So with these inequities were finally fixed, I was disappointed that the CSRS beneficiaries only received 1 year of retroactive benefits under that law.
Okay. How can we get retired members more actively involved in local branch politics and mentorship?
Well, retirees willing to pay it forward, such as myself, can assist in membership and in some cases training. However, retirees don't vote on contract ratification.
Now, I don't know. I think that retirees have historically been pretty active in my branch. Is that how? I don't know. Do you think that's how it is everywhere? I think retirees are the ones who normally do the odd jobs that nobody else wants to do, like preparation for the food drive.
Our retirees are very active. They don't do the training for the active employees, but in some cases they do training. If the cases that have to do with this retiring online, that sort of thing. So our retiree director in our branch, he gives a report every month, and he talks about things that affect retirees. But again, they don't vote on the contract. It's a double-edged sword here.
You guys have a bigger branch, am I correct?
Yeah, we're about 4,100 members.
for you bigger branches, do you guys do things like phone bank the retirees for, let's say the national election's coming up?
Well, what we do is for legislation, County Federation of Labor, we go over there and phone bank with them on various bills that affect us.
That's
and
pretty
the
cool.
retirees are active in that. Yeah, the retirees are pretty active in that.
Now, we're on to the last question, but I might have just a couple more because it's a little short. But not too many people submitted questions in. But what separates your vision for this director position from the current administration?
Well, I kind of answered that under question number 6. You want me to go over that again?
Yeah, you kind of did actually go over that. Now,
yeah.
I want to know a little bit more about your history. Didn't you come from Michigan?
I did.
Did you know Jimmy K?
Jimmy K. That name is familiar. It's been so many years. I've been here for 30-some years.
Oh, that's
but
okay.
I do remember him. Norm Bremberger, I remember Norm quite well. Oh, branch 3126. He was the president of the branch that we merged with. Right before I came to California, our branch merged with branch 3126. And Norm and I were both big Sombrado supporters, which wasn't popular at the time.
Who was the one that was popular, Rademacher or Vaca?
Well, Rademacher first, initially when Sombrado ran in 72, then Joe Vaca.
Is that because Rademacher was from Detroit?
Yeah, Rademacher was from Detroit.
Is that
Joe
why
Vaca was, I believe, from Cleveland, Ohio. He was from Ohio somewhere, I think Cleveland.
Is that why he garnered support in Michigan so much? Because he's from Detroit?
It could be, probably because he was supported by Rademacher, just like Rolando supported Renfro.
Yeah.
Generally, the president supports the next president. That's kind of the way it goes. I mean, we don't know all these people personally. When we voted for Renfro, we didn't know all the stuff we know about him now, did we?
No. Now, one other thing before I let you go, I do want to ask you, have you seen some of the proposals being proposed for the convention floor?
Oh, I have not.
Okay. Well,
I have not.
I did one for my branch. It was on undelivered mail, and it's about how the Postal Service is consistently leaving mail left undelivered, including first class and priority. And the reason why is they don't want to pay penalty. So our branch asked for the NALC to basically fight for that legislatively, but also to contractually protect first class mail from being, sitting on the workroom floor every day. Would you support something like that?
Of course I would.
Is it happening over there in California?
Not as much as what you say, but I have seen it happening a little bit here. And, some of the things that our management are doing nowadays, I think they smell the blood in the water that we're weak at the national level, because some of the things they're doing now, I haven't seen ever in years.
Yeah, they're getting pretty bold as far as I understand.
Yes.
Now, one last thing. Is there anything else you'd like to add that we haven't discussed so far?
Well, I haven't been asked the question of how I got in this position.
I'd like to hear it.
I would like to mention that. Yeah. I just want to say that Pam Donato has been a good friend of mine for years, and I do pray that it stays that way. But she came out at full retirement to accept this position of director of retirees and work for letter care and work for our retired letter carers. Her reasons for withdrawing from that position are her own personal reasons and her own personal business.
Absolutely. All right. Well, it was good having you on.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. You have a good day. And
You too.
one other thing, for all the letter carriers who are fathers, happy Father's Day.
Very good.
If these guys are getting educated, we will be in big trouble.
a bag of wet catalogs, but you don't gotta take it. You strap on the elbow of education, dig it?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the Roseville Wrecking Ball. The Roseville Wrecking Ball.
The Roseville Wrecking Ball. He is an Article 8 scholar, and thank God, we need Article 8 scholars right now. The grievous genius, the Roseville Wrecking Ball, doing amazing work.
Tune into the Parcels of Knowledge podcast while you're on the route. That's the mailman's playbook, brother.